I'm Dr. Kellyann Petrucci, and today a very special guest is joining me for a special conversation about what she eats to be an aging enigma. Reality and social media star, mom to two of the most famous girls on social media, and not to mention a cast member of Dancing with the Stars, Heidi D'Amelio. Welcome, Heidi. Well, I'm so happy to have you on the show because I have to tell you, I have a guilty pleasure, and my guilty pleasure is your show. So I cannot believe how absolutely adorable it is. There's not been a show like that where you're actually taking, your daughters who have come to fame in such a flash, so quickly, and to see how that all unfolded, it's really good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. We all do. And yeah, it's pretty wild that we have a show, and I feel like because we feel so much like nothing's changed in a lot of ways because it's all four of us. I think if it were one of us, it would feel different. But we're still like that family unit that we know that Dixie's always going to be late, or Charlie's gonna, do this when this happens. So all of that stuff is the same. There's just like a lot more eyes and we're a lot more busy.
Well, I have to tell you, the thing that really strikes me and when I'm watching is how humble the girls are. They're really humble and really just beautiful human beings. And that's always a testament to the mother. So, you've done a good job, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
So do you feel, because you've got all these eyeballs on you, do you feel like extra pressure to look like maxed to the beautiful all the time?
I don't. I almost like the opposite. Like I feel like if I'm too done up, you'll see it in our show. Like we don't have glam. There's a lot of times I'm like, get home from the gym and I have like 15 minutes to get ready for a sit down interview where the camera is right in my face. And I'm like, yeah, I can't turn it around that fast. So you're kind of going to get what you're going to get, sweaty hair. I like try, but it's very much real life in that way. I just always kind of do what I do. I am blessed with good genes from my parents, and I have three older sisters, and I'm very lucky in that sense. So I'm going to take those genes that I were given and take good care of them. And with that, it happens to be things that I enjoy, whether it's working out or the food I eat or just the energy I put out there. It's sort of, I think the exterior looks as a reflection as to what I'm doing. So I feel like as long as I'm happy and centered and grounded, the outside is going to do what it does. So
I think you just said something really important, and I hope everyone really heard that. That is the most, I have seen so many patients. I've just assessed so many people's lifestyles and their diets and what they eat. And what it comes down to is that inner center. It comes down to the inner center. And if people just could realize how powerful that is, because there's a certain way people radiate naturally. And we talk a lot about natural beauty from the inside out, but it's that natural center, that beautiful center that really keeps you in a state where, like you said, I don't care what angle the camera's on. I got this. I got this. Wait, where's the lighting? Where's the angle? The nightmare. We're all tracking that.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you know that. And I think that's such a good example to have for your daughters.
Thank you. And sometimes I do go back, and when I see something that we filmed and I was like, oh yeah, that angle could have been better, this and that. And then I'm like, you know what? It's just too much energy to put into that. Honestly,
you get to that.
I'm just like, I just have to be in the moment and enjoy what we're doing because it just goes by so fast.
It goes by so fast. And when people would say that, when I was pushing him in the stroller, I'd think, oh, come on. Okay. All right. But now they were so right.
But I do feel like knowing that and hearing that so much, like how fast it goes by, is the little things that I did and Mark and I did together, knowing that the way we parented is, there's just one thing that I always did, knowing that it was going to go by fast and I didn't want to miss the opportunity, that is so much evident in the girls today. So when they would be invited to a birthday party or anything, before we'd leave, they were when they could talk, go to say thank you to the mom, the dad, the sister,
Yes.
the brothers, the birthday person, see if you can help clean up. Like that was something that, and then, or if it was at an event place, like a bounce house or whatever, the people that served you pizza and like just everybody. And to this day, when they're on set, I mean, I don't do it so much anymore. In the last 2 years, I've kind of do it less, but because everyone tells me before they leave a set, they literally go to every single person in that place, from the receptionist to the everybody, photographer, and everyone in between. They're like, thank you so much. Like, we couldn't have done this today without you, and we appreciate you. And so I think realizing that parenting, those moments, whether it's that or anything else, goes by so fast. And I know, had I not done it, I would, and my kids would walk out of a set now and not do that, I would be like kicking myself, like, why didn't I spend more time doing that? And so that's just like one little thing. I like to pride myself in that. There's a lot I missed.
You know what? You should. And you know what that is? That's really expressing gratitude. And here's another thing about health and beauty and all of that. They say that your body really radiates in a different way when you wake up every day with gratitude, and saying thank you to everyone. That's just a way to express gratitude. So that's actually something that you did for their health, whether you realized it or not.
So one of the things that I really want to know about is your experiences growing up, because a lot of the times the relationships that we have with food, they start when we're young. And I want to know, what was it like for you growing up? What kind of foods did you have in your home, and what was your regulars?
So I'm from Southwest Louisiana, a lot of Cajun food. And not a lot of money. So we ate a lot of rice and whatever we could afford for like a side. My dad was also like, he would fish, and he was a duck hunter. And so we would eat whatever he would bring home. Some days are better than others. And we always had a garden. And so we didn't eat out a lot, mostly because there were 6 of us in our family and we couldn't really afford like a night out. Every once in a while there would be a treat, but my mom cooked every night, and my dad too. He would do, like, if we had like a bunch of people over, he would do like the big thing. But so a lot of rice, a lot of white rice and potatoes, like something to stick to the ribs, as my mom would say, and vegetables, a lot of fresh vegetables, because we grew that. And I have to say, like, we were all big eaters. Again, like, going back to the genetics, like my mom and dad were tiny, like their whole lives. And I think, I don't know, metabolism, I don't know all the science of it, but with that, we were active. We were all athletes. And so with that, we were hungry and we would eat a lot of food. Food was never anything, there was never anything negative around it. And then being in Louisiana in general, there's always something, a festival or this or that, and it's food and music. And it was just always a positive. I had that kind of metabolism where I didn't really have to worry about or think about, like, am I eating too much or what do I look like? I was very thin. And then as I got older, so I graduated high school, and I'm like, I was an athlete in school, and how am I going to do that now that I'm out of school? And I knew I wanted more muscle, and that's something clicked in my head. And I was like, I didn't have a visualization of what I wanted my body to look like. What I had in my head was what I wanted to feel like. And I wanted to feel strong. And I wanted to feel like, to be honest, I wanted to feel like if I ever got attacked, I could hold my own. And
you can.
I don't know, like I just had that. I wanted to be strong. And so I started working out, and just happened to be I had a group of friends that were all bodybuilders. And I worked out with them, and that's kind of how I learned. And I fell in love with lifting weights. And it took me probably 10 years to gain 10 pounds of muscle. And it was just like, it was such what it did for my mind. I was happy with how I looked strong. Again, like the visualization of how I wanted to look was strong. And then on top of that, what it did for my mind, I was like, I can do anything. Like it just changed the way I thought. And then with the eating, it was like, I need to eat enough to get me through these workouts.
Yes.
And, you know, so that's kind of that. And then I moved to New York City when I was 25, and that changed because I had never been around so many different kinds of workouts and all of these things, and a lot of talk about food and what, like almost my kind of thought on food was more broad. Like, yeah, I have to just eat so I'm not hungry, eat so I can get through a workout, eat after the workout, kind of that. And there was a lot of people that I had never been in a situation where there was a lot of people that were very confused about food and like,
Yes.
do I have this or when or what time? And I was very new to that. And honestly, like, it's hard because I saw that, they have a different relationship with food than I do. And it's deep and it's hard to undo that, I think. And I'm not a professional in that, so I never took that on. But it's, and I feel like it's just gotten more and more of a conversation of confusion around food. And I kind of just always stay in the middle with that. I do what I feel for my body. And I think, you know, I've become plant-based in the last, since 2019.
Which surprises me, and I'll tell you why, because I don't know if you know this. I mean, I was a serious bodybuilder, went to the Arnold Classics, read all the magazines, like did the whole thing, the whole circuit. And I still am into it. I feel like there's nothing that shapes the body like lifting a weight. I love it. I love the feel. I love the feel after. I love everything about it. But one of the things about that community is everybody is drinking protein shakes and eating hunks of meat. I mean, it's really indoctrinated in that community.
Yeah.
You turned plant-based. So tell me why that happened and how do you make all of that work with all your fitness?
So in 2019, so this is before like the girls went viral on social media. And, you know, my oldest was going into her senior year. She was going to be going away to college. Charlie already had she was a freshman in high school, and she knew what she wanted to do. She was already had picked out her college. She knew she wanted to go there to be on the dance team, and she was going to work to get to that. So I was like, all of a sudden I felt like we're going to be without kids in the house very fast. And I kind of just sat there with, who am I and what am I about? Like, I wasn't working out as much. I didn't have the joy in it that I had prior. And I just wasn't doing anything. And I had gained probably almost 25, 30 pounds, something like that. And I hid it very well. No one believed me. And I was like, I have no reason to lie. And but it wasn't a thing. I was never like, oh, I gained weight. It was just like, well, of course I did. I'm not moving. Like I'm not lifting, I'm not moving, I'm not doing all the things to keep me as I was. So I never got down on myself about it. I was just like, if I want to change my body, I have to change what I'm doing. And in that moment, I'm like, I really want to figure out what I'm like. I want to feel that strong again. I wasn't feeling that. I was trying to like dress so where you couldn't tell. And I was like, it's getting harder and harder. And so this was April and summer was coming. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be like this. I want to be happy with my body. I don't need it to be chiseled, but I want to walk out and like be able to go and do whatever I want and feel good. So I follow this bodybuilder. She does like the Miss Fitness. And she was plant-based and she was doing this challenge. And she's based, I think, in the UK. And her handle is the Sculpted Vegan. Anyway, so she was doing this challenge, and I have been following her because she lifts heavy weights, which I love.
Me too.
I was like, how does she do that plant-based? So like thrown off because like you, it's like a lot of meat, a lot of protein, like as lifting weights. Anyway, I was like, I'm going to do this challenge. I bought it. It was like $50. And it was, I'm like, and so the thing is you take pictures as you progress. It was 28 days. Now I knew going into this is not something to sustain. Like you can't continue that, but like as a bodybuilder, you know, that shred at the end, but it's condensed into 28 days. I'm like, this is going to be my jump start to get back into it. Right. So I was doing it and I'm like, I am never posting those pictures online. Like, absolutely not. And then after 2.5 weeks, I couldn't believe my body. So this challenge, it was lifting weights and cardio, but it was plant-based. I was pescatarian prior to that. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. Like, it was hardcore, and the food was challenging just because I was new to it being strictly plant-based. Anyway, as I going into it, I'm like, I want to win this thing. And so I was just working my butt off. I told my family, and I had never done that before. I told my family before I started, I'm like, I'm literally going to see you guys in 28 days. I've never taken that. I think especially as a parent, as a mom, you are always like there for everybody else. And I had definitely put myself on the back burner, which had having those thoughts of like, who am I? What am I about? Like, what do I want? And so now I'm like,
says every woman, especially over 45.
exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I will see you in 28 days. Don't ask me what to eat. Don't ask me for a ride. I am checked out. And I took that for myself. And I told them, I promise you at the end of this 28 days, you're going to get such a better version of me. You just have to trust me. And they were like, okay. And they like fended for themselves and did the whole thing. But I ended up winning the challenge.
Of course you did. Do I look surprised?
And I was like, obviously I was excited. Like, at that age, when I was almost 50 and like, you're not doing challenges or winning things. Like, what is there to, not a lot as you get older of like competition. So I love the competition side of it, but I was so happy of what it did to my mind, and that I knew I had that feeling like when I was younger of just like, I can do anything.
But see, your mindset, I'm listening to your whole story, and all I keep hearing is she has a rock solid mindset. But Heidi, for a lot of people, they are super busy with kids, work, doing all these things, and they're listening to this and they're thinking, there's no way. How do you do it? How do you find the time and stay motivated? So answer that for people.
I mean, for me, the more I worked out, the more energy I had. You hear that? I've heard that a million times. I'm like, even I didn't believe it until like my body went through that. And I was like, what is happening? How am I going right now? Because 2 weeks ago, before I started this, I was napping in the middle of the day. I was waking up after a full night of sleep, so tired. And it's just like what I was putting in my body and the energy it was giving me. And then just I think, I don't know, like scientifically how it all works, but it just worked. And I just feel like people, and I've done it myself, like people, if I'm going to start a workout routine and like I have to block out this time, like just do what you can. I was doing squats in my shower because I was alone. Like nobody's going to bother me in here. And I'm doing squats and push-ups in my shower because that was my time. And so just take that time, take whatever time, take the stairs, do all the things.
It all counts. It all counts.
And one thing leads to another, and then you get excited about it. Yeah.
It's incremental. But Heidi, what about the people who say, well, how are you putting muscle on being vegan?
My protein looks different, I guess. I do have a protein shake in the morning. Sometimes I have one at night if I didn't get enough and I'm not feeling like, sometimes I just listen to my body too. Like,
there you go. That's what I wanted to hear. There you go.
So then I'll like have that. But beans, quinoa, rice, sweet potatoes, tofu, nutritional yeast. I also am very much like, I could eat the same thing every day for a year. Like I like it to taste good, and that's always the goal, but I like that. Like, it's just easy for me. And then, you have your treats in between here and there. Of course, we go out to dinner or whatever, but for the most part, and I always have like a big salad, more of just like keeping things moving, I feel like. And then I have a gallon of water a day, but that's always been my thing. My mom was a big water drinker. I've done that for years, and there's times where I fall off and I don't have it. And the first thing when I don't have my water, especially if we're traveling and it's hard, so I always have to pee, is my skin. The skin on my face when I'm not getting my water, I'm like, what the heck? So it's like, I can't argue with that. I'm like, there is something happening when I agree. And I get people tell me all the time, they're like, your skin, what do you do? And my skin regimen is very minimal. And I'm like, I feel like it's like the water and like the coming from the inside out. I don't
And you
know.
eat a lot of water foods.
Yeah.
So you're not only drinking water, you're eating water foods, and that really shows on your face. But is there anything embarrassing in your refrigerator? Like, is there anything in there that you kind of cringe?
Okay, so I don't know if it's not cringe, but it's like my guilty pleasure, but it's kind of not. So it's like, they're called Dream Pops, and it's
Ah.
plant-based. It's a little bite of heaven of like plant-based like ice cream, and it's got a thin coat of chocolate on it. Oh, like I find myself when I'm not home thinking about, oh, when I get home, I'm gonna have one. Like they're crazy. And they come in a little cup, but that cup will last me like a week and a half. I'll have like one a day. I'm like, you gotta live. I'm like strict right now. I'm like working towards something. So I have very strict goals, but generally in life, like most people don't even know I'm plant-based. So when we go out to dinner, like you can just always figure it out.
You can.
And so like, I don't make it a thing. Other people who aren't plant-based make it more of a thing than I ever do. Like, I'm not talking about it. You're the guys are the ones talking about it. So, yeah.
You're not really into, like, a lot of people have identity around what they eat. I'm keto, I'm paleo, I'm whatever it is. There's like a big identity there. And I feel like with you, it isn't identity based. I feel
Right.
like with you, it's just something you're enjoying and that's working for you right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like too, and all like you just said, like I'm keto and this and that. I feel like it's so hard to live around that. Like I'm living my life, and this, what I'm putting in my body and the work that I do in the gym or whatever is part of it, but it's not all of it. And so then I think what that does to your head when you're, oh, I'm this, and like, and then if you mess up or you have something that's not what you would normally have, like, then you get down on yourself. Like, it's just so emotional. I look at it as fuel, but also I want my fuel to taste good. So
Yeah,
I'm
me
kind of
too.
taking a little bit in between.
Tell me, what is your favorite smoothie? Because I know you're like a big smoothie person.
So I always just use water. Every once in a while, I'll use oat milk, which I do love. I use the Truvani protein powder.
Yep.
So I have the chocolate peanut butter and I have the vanilla. So if I do chocolate peanut butter, I'll add an extra scoop of like almond butter in it and a banana and spinach. Well, I put spinach in every smoothie. That's a given, like a big thing of it. And so that's my chocolate one. And then the vanilla one, I flip it and I will do like the berries, either raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, maybe
Nice.
the almond butter with the vanilla protein powder, again with the water and the spinach.
I'm going to give you a little Dr. Kellyann here for a minute.
Yes.
So the DKA moment is when you think about shakes, what I want you to think about is fat, fiber, and energy. That's what you're looking for. That is really your key: fat, fiber, and energy. And so one of the things that I want to make sure that you're getting in a vegan diet is I want to make sure that you're eating all the precursors for collagen, because that's going to be really important. As you keep advancing in age, you're going to want more collagen, and you can build that in the diet that you have by adding things like citrus. Citrus is actually a precursor because vitamin C is a rate limiting factor in creating collagen. What that just means is that you need vitamin C to create collagen. So anything with vitamin C is good. Leafy greens, which you put in all of your stuff, that is vital, vital, vital. Garlic is actually good. It's very good. And make sure you're getting the healthy fats in there, because they're going to stay in your stomach longer. So it's very self-sustaining. So MCT oil is one of those things that I like because it helps burn fat. And it also keeps you full for a long period of time. So it's one of my favorite oils to stick in. Also, chia seeds. I like chia seeds because they're a really good source of fiber. So you mentioned something about, I feel like it keeps things moving. So much about nutrition, and so much, the reason why, one of the big reasons why I believe you look the way you do is because things move through you and they don't get stuck. See, it's that process of being cleansed and not clogged makes a huge difference in the outcome of your health. That's why your eyes are really white. If you notice when you look at her, guys, she's got really white eyes. People want that and they don't know how to get it. You get that by being cleansed and not clogged. So that's really important. Another thing I want to make sure you get in your diet, which a lot of people don't know as vegans, is selenium is an issue for people, and leucine. Leucine is an amino acid, and it's not hard to get. Or one of the things that you can do is actually cashews and Brazil nuts. Very good, and you only need a couple. By the way, a really important kind of supplemental routine is to have 2 Brazil nuts a day, because that's going to give you a lot of the leucine, a lot of the things that are lacking in a lot of diets. Pop those 2 Brazil nuts. Really important every day. So, and then, I'm sure you're eating all the edamame and the tempeh and the miso, and you said you're eating tofu. So you're eating natural forms. So one of the biggest issues, really the biggest issue I have with anyone on a plant-based diet, you're doing what I call smart plant-based. But a lot of people will have a lot of the things in the freezers that are really like frankenfoods, as we call them. And they're not really a good vegetarian food at all. A lot of the plant-based meat products, that's what you have to watch out for. See, you shook your head right away. That's where people get derailed on a lot of these diets. But as long as you're having the really smart forms of protein, it sounds like you are. I want you to upgrade your shakes a little bit. And let me tell you why, guys. She is the way she is. She is positive. You're positive, Heidi. You have a positive outlook on everything. And
thank you.
Yep.
I've learned a lot. So thank you for having me on. I always learn from your content, just even the recipes that you, is this approved? And, with substitutions or approved. Like,
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
It was nice to talk to someone as real and down to earth as Heidi. I hope this conversation with Heidi gave everyone a little extra inspiration to make longevity a priority, because taking care of yourself and your health, eating better, well, it isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling good. Until next time, you're going to get a big Italian kiss. Mwah!